Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. Today we are having a look at Bormann Performance's Mack Pinnacle. This is not a new truck, but it is an update to the truck. And he calls it an update, but essentially what happened here was you have two different trucks now. Instead of just a Pinnacle, which typically has more of that rounded bumper look, this is the Mack Granite. So you're essentially getting two trucks in one, although caveat, I'll address that in just a second. So two things that we're going to do with the video. Number one, we're going to look at the different options. We're not going to look at the Pinnacle and the Granite. We're going to look at one because both have very similar options. We're basically just talking about the styling of the front is pretty much the big difference. One or two things that the Pinnacle has that the Mack doesn't, and vice versa. But we're just going to basically take a look at the Granite. We'll take a look at the outside, the inside, how to put it together, all your options, and then we're going to take a short drive. Now, the one thing that I wanted to address, is it two trucks in one? Technically, yes. The Granite and the Pinnacle. In my opinion, and I don't know as much as they do, they say that they modeled this based on the real trucks, so they probably have a lot more insight than I do. From my perspective, having just purchased it a few hours ago, and I built two of these trucks. I built one Pinnacle and I built one Granite. Since they have very similar options and nodes and all of that, what it looks like to me is basically the hood and the bumper portion and the front grille is basically the difference between the two trucks. The rest of it seems pretty straightforward. There could be some styling differences that I'm missing, but in terms of nodes and accessories and how you put everything together, all your options, it's pretty much the only thing is the hood, the grille, and the bumper. And in my opinion, I think that probably could have been addressed just here in the cabin or on the chassis, most likely in the cabin, where you would have day cab Granite, sleeper Granite, and then day cab Pinnacle, sleeper Pinnacle. That's what I think. So, I mean, it is technically two different trucks, but the options that you have, there's not that many differences. It's 1.5. Is it some sort of compromise? Just to let you know, it's not like you're getting a completely radically different truck with custom options on both or anything like that. They're pretty much the same, and the styling in the front is what's going to be the difference between the two. So just a little caveat, I'm not trying to criticize Bormann Performance at all, but you should know that when it says it's really two trucks in one, it's some, small changes between the two. And I think that some people may be misled by that. That's why I wanted to give my honest take on what that is. It's not even an opinion, it's simply what it is. All right, moving along, let's go ahead and break down the cabin. We're going to be doing the Granite since the Pinnacle has already been out. Granite is really, it's more like a Granite update is what they call it, but they're now being sold together as a Mack Pinnacle Granite pack. So it's one mod, and it's currently selling for $25 on the website. Fast and easy to get. I purchased it, downloaded it, and was building the truck within 5 minutes. So super awesome there. Okay, so on the Granite we have the day cab, and we also have the sleeper, which is kind of cool. That is a huge sleeper. Styling, I think this is going to be 50-50. And some people are going to like it, some people are going to hate it. I'm going to stay. I don't actually hate either one. I prefer day cabs, and I think I'm just going to kind of style it like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the chassis. We have a 6x4 stock. We have a 6x4 paint, and that basically just paints the frame there. A 6x4 long, 6x4 long paint, an 8x4 pusher, and then you have your paint variation. You've got a lift, and then a lift with paint. And that's your lift right there. Then there's also this cool little bonus, and that is to put a dump truck on it. So there's an 8x4 pusher axle, and here's an 8x4 dumper liftable. And basically, again, it's just these tires here. I'll go to the other option again now, and then back. So it basically just changes out and makes this a tandem here. So that is what we're doing. By the way, Pinnacle has the same types of options. All right, so moving on to the engine. I went ahead with an MP8 because when I did some research, and we'll see when I do a drive, that MP8 is a very common engine to have in a Mack Pinnacle, whether you're talking about a Granite or not. So they come in a couple different horsepower. I think he has 3. Yeah. So you got a 415, 445, and a 505, and that is from Steel Productions. And you also get these 3 options: 435, 500, and 535. A little bit more horsepower with that, but I'm still sticking with Steel Productions for this. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's a personal preference, especially with a lot of modern engines. Tell me, guys, what do you think? When it comes to more modern engines, there are differences between an ISX 15. There is a difference between an X15, a DD15, even an MP8. But a lot of modern engines, they seem to be more similar than they are different, unless you're really familiar with them. At least compared to older engines, like a DD60 sounds nothing like a Cat C12. Sounds nothing like a Cummins N14. They're so much further apart than in my opinion, than modern engines are. So it's not really a right or wrong thing. It's more like, no, that's just my personal preference. And I happen to like a lot of stuff that David Steele is doing anyway. So yeah, we're going to be rocking that 505 horsepower. As we get into it, I'll explain a little bit more, but I'm going with a different type of transmission. This is actually one that you can find free on the Steam Workshop. It's by Jack Burton. It's Real Mack Maxitorque, and it's basically the T300 series. And this one specifically is going to be a T310m, and I'll explain the shift pattern to that in just a minute. But let's go ahead and finish up going through this truck. Interior accessories, we can do the whole thing brown, gray, or red, and that's going to be your basic. I'm probably going to go with brown as my base. And then as far as accessories on the inside, we've got a few different, well, we've got all of our steering wheels that we normally would have. But here's what it looks like: stock black, stock brown. I'm going with the brown because it matches the interior that I just picked. They've also got gray and red. Not surprisingly, the same colors as the dash and trim and everything that you're going to pick. So let's go ahead and revert that back to brown. We do have an option for bezels here. You can get the long dials that are stock, or you can get the short ones. I'll do that again. Here's the long. See the bezels, and here's the short. So we can also do gold. And so we have those same sort of changes. It's basically like a long and a short version in gold. I personally am not going to go with the gold. I'm going to stick with the long dials in the stock. Get that kind of metal or chrome look. We can also tweak the dash panel. I'm going to go through all the options because there are quite a few. Black plastic, blue plastic, carbon fiber, panel chess, panel color full chess. Okay, it sounds very similar to this one, but it looks nothing like it. That was a little confusing. Custom wood, which is the one we're going to be going with. Diamond carbon fiber. That one's kind of cool. Military pattern. Red plastic. Stock wood. And technological pattern. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the custom wood here. And then we can also do some sort of air conditioner. For whatever reason, I'm only getting half of mine to actually reflect. That isn't necessarily due to the truck. That's probably just something on my end right now. I do have a door deflector here. If I take it out, you'll see what it is. I'll put it back in. I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. On the mirrors, we could either go like the stock Anthem that has this smaller one down below, or we could just go ahead with the stock Pinnacle. And the stock Pinnacle actually comes with an antenna. And even though I don't have that other one, I feel like it's big enough that I can see in my blind spot. So I'm just going to go with that. GPS node is right here. We could do a cell phone, portable navigator, and these other ones are kind of grayed out for me. I even had one that did a crash to desktop. Again, that might just be me, so I'm not picking any of them that don't have an image on them. Hanging items, I'm not going to do anything. I threw down a cardboard box, clipboard over here. We can change the seats. One thing I was kind of hoping that I could do, I picked brown for all the paneling, and I picked brown for the steering wheel, and they're very similar. But if I pick brown on this, I'm not getting a similar brown. I wish I could have a similar brown just like that so it can match. These seem to be, they're kind of like, the red does match a little bit, the black matches a little bit, this is actually a different shade of gray as well, but I wish I could find something that was a little bit more matching with the rest of what I picked out. Kind of nitpicking there, but there is an interior light that we can pick. It's just a white option, or you can cancel it out. That is up to you. And that's basically the interior here. A couple little cup holder things. Floor item, no, here, carpet. Here's your options, and it's really changing the mat here. We can change it to red, we can change it to brown, and we can change it to black. I'm going to go back to brown. I kind of wish that would match up with that. This matches more with the seat. I also wanted to note that in the Pinnacle, you have a node approximately right here where you can go through, and there's like 15 different options, 10 to 15 different options for the shifter, but on this there is no shifter. I don't know if maybe that is the way that this truck comes, because it is a more modern truck. Maybe it doesn't even have the shifter available. Something to keep in mind. All right, let's go ahead and head to the outside. Well, before I do paints, I just kind of went with this orange metallic. They do allow for you to add your own personal skin in here. Besides that, we're just talking about a range of different colors, and that's pretty much the same on all Bormann's trucks. So I just went with this kind of burnt orange, which I like a lot. Now, in terms of accessories on the outside, something that I have mentioned in the past that I wish Bormann would include, all of these options for the bumpers, and I have the stock black matte. I just decided to kind of keep it black matte going all the way through. And by the way, while I was showing this to you, I didn't really mean to do this. I meant for it to just be an 8x4 lift. That way we can see a lot more options going on. But when you click on bumper and you have all these different options, we don't have any options for lights. Maybe that's like a standard thing on a Mack, or on this type of truck. There was just no inputs for it. But I think it was very similar also on a 6900 if I'm not, I think that's the truck. Can't remember. With this one, you go to the grill and you get either black. I really, really do like the fact that Bormann is offering this matte black. It really does look good. I thought it was a little bit too much, so I stuck with the chrome, so I can keep the matte black here, a little bit on the, well, I'll have to redo them in a second, on the fenders. I did want to note that on the Pinnacle, you do have an option on a couple of the bumpers once you select this to have a node for a license plate. And on the grill, you do have an option to put additional lights all the way around the grill, which may compensate for not having any on the bumper, because just like with the Granite, you're not going to get any light nodes, so it's pretty much just the way it is. Hood ornament, how do we want the dog? Do we want it chrome? Do we want it chrome with black? And I'm going to actually walk up here so that you can see what's going on here. So that's one option, or it's actually brown. That's full chrome right there. You can get it in gold and brown, or completely gold. I'm going with the chrome and brown personally. What else do we have here? There's a couple different spots for your logos. This is the same thing on the Pinnacle too. All of these options are just your preference, with the exception of this last one. If you don't have something to throw on there, you can just have it say MP8 505, which is actually, not coincidentally, the engine that I'm working with today, but the rest of these are all templates. I'm just gonna cancel that out because I don't have any templates. There's also a template for the side panel on the door. Again, these are all just your templates, unless you go with that last one that has Bormann performance. But yeah, all the rest of these are just templates. Something to think about. Let's actually get rid of that. Plastic or chrome. I'm going to go with plastic on this. I'm rocking Jasper's wheels on this. By the way, this is version 1.49 of ATS. By the way, I still haven't made the transition over to 1.5, but I am, thanks to Goggles56, I am going to, I watched a little tutorial that he had. I'm going to clone a couple profiles and try the experimental beta 1.5 pretty soon, and I'll be able to report back on that, because I believe as of this video, maybe even the day before, Jasper's wheels are good to go with version 1.5. Up here, we've got our sun visor. I'm just going to go through all of the different options. We had this sunshine paintable. I kind of like it when it just kind of sticks with the color of that. Is a very different shape. That is very aggressive. Okay, we got 1, 2. I'll just scroll through these. You can see was there something in writing in there? Yeah, it said Mack. Just going through all the options here. There's that more aggressive one. I kind of like that one too. I might go, probably anything paintable is probably what I'm going to go with. Oh, but they do have a matte black option. I like that. It says chrome, but that's definitely black. It's not black chrome. Yeah, so we might go with that, or I think I'm going to go with that one. The horns and the lights already come configured on it, but if you want to, I kind of like this. So the horns, I actually went in and I customized them. I think this was the default, and I wanted black because I like the matte black. Same thing with the lights. You can go in, select the cabin lights, and you can make the changes if you want to customize it. But if you don't want to customize it, if you're not someone that, probably shouldn't have got rid of that. If you're not someone that wants to sit there and go through all of the different lights and stuff like that, oh look, boom, it's just already there, and you can move on. No slot for beacons as of now. The exhaust, you have a bunch of different options between single and double. I'm just going to click down through them so you can see, and I'll get to one side because some of the options, especially on the singles, they happen in this area. Quite a few options, as you can see. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it. So yeah, I wish we could have some beacons. One thing on the back here is you do have the option to add in a headache rack on the Pinnacle. And I haven't seen that option appear unless maybe it's only on one of the chassis or only on one of them. But I've kind of gone through all of them, and I haven't been able to find a headache rack on the Granite. You can on the Pinnacle, though. There are 4 versions of it. Where else are we? Okay, so we got our cab lights down here, and these actually come blank, so you do have to actually add in the lights, but it's 4 on each side, or 2 or 3 on each side. I think I only did 3. Yeah, it's only 3 on each side, so it doesn't really take a whole lot of time at all. I've got an option for mirror slots. So on this, you can go ahead and add a light if you wanted to. Not necessarily going with blue, but just showing you what you could do. Cab handle, we're going to go with the plastic as opposed to the chrome. Much like the air intake here. Kind of going with that kind of look. As far as tanks go, we went with the stock fuel tanks. Let me show you the different options here. That one's kind of cool. This boxy look is pretty cool. On this this quad. Ooh, maybe we'll go with that, because I wanted something that had the chrome and that burnt orange on there. Maybe we'll go with that. Let me show you the rest of the options. Definitely want to go with a kind of two-tone thing here is my preference. Yeah, I think let's go with the quad paintable because that is pretty unique. That is pretty unique, in fact. So nothing else here on the back. So we'll go in and we'll look at the pusher. So we've got chrome pusher, this fender here. We have diamond, we have paint, and we have plastic. I'm probably going to go with plastic just because I have enough orange. I'm going to keep the plastic going all the way throughout here. While we're at it, we can get to this back fender. Where is it? Oh, it's just right here. Yeah. So I've already chosen plastic. Here's the stock. Here's the Hogue built. Red plastic. Diamond, if you're looking for that more aggressive. Chrome. And a couple different of other options for chrome. I'm going to go back to the plastic. Trailer cables, we've got a couple different options. This one's set in. You can get your tower. You can have the tower with the deck, and you have 3 different options for this, and it just is going to extend more deck, basically, all the way out. And we even have the option to do that on the back. I think it's this node. If we want to get rid of it, we can take it off. Otherwise, we'll add it back in. Might as well keep it consistent going all the way through. Fifth wheel, you can either do stock, you can do it paintable, or you can do it in chrome. I'm going to stick with the stock. This is something that is pretty cool, actually. This is normally what it looks like. You don't have a whole lot of detail. Oh, you do have detail, but it doesn't stand out. And I don't know if I've ever seen this on a truck before. Maybe you guys can let me know. But you can also get so that all of the nuts on here are in chrome or they're in gold, just like that. That's kind of different. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go with the chrome because it's something I haven't seen before. Oh, I forgot to add that. What? Which one was that? All right, so let me go ahead and add that in. And I think I went with a matte cover. Yeah, I did. Get those things looking similar, and I've got the Goodyears on there. Now, there are a few more nodes here in the back, but you have to take it from this angle in order to see them. So that's the nuts. That was the deck plate that I just showed you. We also have the back bumper. And the back bumper, here's 4 different options. Custom, rear bumper. Here's another custom bumper. Here's stock, which is probably what I'm going to go with. And stock paintable. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But then there's another node where you can deal with the mud flaps. I'll go through all the different options here. AC/DC, Bormann, Bull, Eagle, Fast Pit, Mack, and there's 4 different versions of the Mack. This is my preference. That one also not looking too bad, but I'm not a big fan of the white. It's completely up to you. And then we've got Nirvana, and we have Skull. Nirvana one's pretty cool. But I'm just going to go ahead and go with the first version of the Mack. Kind of a standard thing. We don't need it to be so fancy. But notice how they've got the little pull rod here for the 5th wheel. It's something that doesn't stand out as much on a lot of other trucks. So there is quite a bit of detail here. A lot of time went in, and obviously, like I said before, they did use models, images, and whatever they could from the real truck to make it as realistic as possible. But that is the kind of a look at the Granite. Again, we're not going over the Pinnacle either, but it's basically the same. So yeah, I just wanted to go over the options for those of you who do not have the Pinnacle, don't know anything about this truck or even anything about Bormann Performance. He's got probably 8 or 9 different trucks now and does some pretty decent work. Again, I leave it up to you, completely up to you based on the interior, the exterior options. But overall, pretty good quality. I wish there were a few tweaks here and there. Need to add some lights to the bumper. Need to see a headache rack on the back to match the Pinnacle. Wish we had some beacons. I mean, am I nitpicking? I don't know. I would like a couple more options and maybe options for the carpet to be able to match this brown and the seat to match that a little bit more. But other than that, pretty pleased with it. So let's go ahead and we will take a short drive now. All right, we just picked up a load of LPG, liquid propane gas, here in Ardmore, and we're going to take it over to Oklahoma City. It's only about 3 hours. It's a shorter drive because we've already done a deeper look into the Mack Granite, but I just put a basic tanker here on the back. Did as best as I could to match it. Actually looks pretty decent. I'm usually a lot farther off. But yeah, 28,665 pounds of liquid propane gas from Ardmore down to Oklahoma City. Let's go ahead and get in. Lights, and we'll crank her. There's that LP8. We will be using, like I said, it's a 505 horsepower MP8 from Steel Productions, and from Jack Burton, free mod on the Steam Workshop. We're going to do the Mack T310m. It's a 10-speed. You basically shift it very similar. You can see my gears up top there. And you've got... Oh, sorry about that. And you basically got first, second, third, fourth. No big deal. It's kind of like a 13-speed. 5, 6, 7, and 8. No splitting, though, on these. And then in the lower range, if we take it over here to the left, we can get low. And this is unique about this. If you go to the upper left, this is normally where we would see reverse, but this is a low. So how do we get reverse? We've been doing all of this according to the way that it was done, the gearbox layout file. The splitter has been forward the entire time. If I take the splitter and go back with it, now I have reverse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 different reversers. Usually when I see that, it's usually a Maxitorque. It's adapted to an Eaton Fuller shifter, and I usually see the splitter forward. So I hope I don't confuse those. I may change that in the gearbox layout file for, kind of a customized one for me. But this is really cool. Again, with the splitter forward, you actually have a low gear in that upper left, not reverse. Low, low, and low. So put those two low gears together with the 1 through 8, and you've got a 10-speed. That's basically what we're rocking with today. Parking brake is out, so let's go ahead and get started. It was kind of crazy because I had just found the other day, I just found Jack Burton's transmission mod. And by the way, the mod, it's not just this this T310m. It actually comes with many more transmissions, but they're all in the T300 series. I think there's probably like 7 or 8 different transmissions. I went with this one because it's a little unique. You know what? I think I did this in my last video. I should have just gone out that other way. So we're just going to make a huge lap around here so we can take a look at the truck. That's what we'll say anyway. Why can't we just go out to the right? I think we can. I think that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, yeah, and I just found that mod, and I always like trying new transmissions. And it turns out that, right after I found that, I was like, oh, I need to find a use for that, because obviously I got to put it in a Mack. And then like 10 minutes later, I saw the release on Facebook from Bormann's Performance about this update being released. So I thought, oh, that's perfect. And I had been wanting to use the MP8 from Steel Productions for a while now.
Turn left.
Yeah, basically just using this kind of like a kind of like an 8+1 basically. If you got some heavier loads, you can definitely use those low gears. So people that know more about this than me, which is probably a lot of people, is this Mack Granite, this or Mack Pinnacle. Is it very common, much more common to have an automatic transmission with these? Because when I was looking through and doing some research, I was actually seeing quite a few. I was actually seeing quite a few 10s and 13 speeds based on used ones. And probably like 2017, 2018, something like that. But maybe because, you know, because I don't see a shifter in this, but I do see one in the Pinnacle. I thought maybe this, it wasn't even standard to have any sort of shifting knob, meant to just be automatic. So if you guys know any more about that, let me know. That's actually a pretty good paint match.
50 yards, go straight.
Surprised myself. Recording this on Saturday, and had the opportunity to go on and check out Goggles 56's Saturday live stream. That was pretty cool. I think he ended up doing like 4 different drives. It was a long time. I think he was on for like almost 4 hours. But it's cool to see him experimenting with different things. And of course, he was looking primarily at all of the different things that you can do in 5.0, taking a look at what trucks are working, what trailers are working, what mods still need to be become compliant with it. And it was just a really cool thing. I think he did one run with the Pister 389, which has been updated. All of Ruta's stuff has been updated. What else did he do? Run with? I can't remember. Oh well, he did take Mason's Mod Shop's. F350, and he just ran that solo down in Mexico. That was actually pretty funny. Crazy road, and he was trying to drive it. It seemed like as fast as he could. It's NASCAR Dan, so it was a lot of fun. But always love those live streams because you figure out there's so many things when you're in the game that you're thinking, man, I wish I could just ask someone, and then you kind of forget about it, and he kind of just gets to think out loud with all the people in the chat, and they give their input, or if he forgets something, they chime in, or it just keeps a real good discussion going, and they're a lot of fun. So for all of you guys who like tuning in, I don't know if it's happening every Saturday, but often on Saturday, go check out Dan McNary, his site or his channel on YouTube, and he'll be usually doing a Saturday live stream. Ooh, this is different. I haven't seen one of these triangles on an on-ramp before. That is different. That's kind of cool and realistic. Yeah, so his live streams are usually, well, see, I'm here on, I'm in California, so it'd be Pacific Standard Time. That would be 11 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern in the States. So you can plan plan accordingly, and a lot of times, even if you're busy, you can catch at least some of it because they usually go 3 or 4 hours. Or they have been the last couple that I've been seeing. I guess I don't have any more views in here. Get into 8th here. I don't know if we're going to get up to 75, but we'll give her a shot. Tanker's looking good. Now it looks like it doesn't match at all. It's just when the light hits it. Yeah, it's too dark. Must have had different lighting before. I do like that quad fuel box, though. Makes it pretty unique. I could actually probably pick up that liftable axle since we're only dealing with, what, 26,000 pounds? But we'll keep it down for right now. Oh, we are going to get up to 75. Well, 500 horsepower and only 26,000 pounds. I was actually anticipating hauling something heavier. And then I went to, I picked up a trailer, and all I were getting were like $90,000 and $100,000 loads. And then I picked up another trailer, and that's what I was getting with that too. I was like, all right, well, I mean, 500 horsepower, it would test the low gears in this transmission, that's for sure. But also, I didn't want it to be like an hour-long drive with me just trying to get out of the driveway. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit quicker since I had already done the walkthrough on this truck, so that's kind of why we have what we have. I'm going over the speed limit a bit here. About an hour 58, yeah, so about 2 hours game time left. I'm going to go ahead and speed up a little bit. And I'll show you a little bit more of the outside, then I'll meet you guys when we're dropping off.
Keep left.
Okay, we're just pulling into Oklahoma City now. Still have the windows down, but I want you to hear what it's going to sound like when I put them up. So here's still down. Let's go ahead and roll them up. Dampens it quite a bit, even though I'm going a little bit faster than the speed limit there. I wanted you to hear that. Nothing like a little Jake brake through a residential area. Of course, on more modern engines, they're not as much of a nuisance. The downshift is probably louder than the Jake itself. Oh, guy coming in for landing.
100 yards, turn left.
And we are dropping off at another BP here in about 10 minutes.
Turn left.
Not that gas station. Another thing about this engine is that it has, and this transmission, it's meant for very high torque. I think the initial gear is like 17 point something, and I think I even have, if I chose it correctly, I think a 4.1 differential in it. So it was meant more for hauling. I also wanted to mention something else. When you get the truck pack the Pinnacle and the Granite, it also comes, like you saw me building it, it comes as a dump truck version on the chassis, but Bormann Performance also has an additional pup. It's like full size, but
100 yards, turn left.
dump truck that you can pull behind it to get loads, and that comes with your purchase. I meant to mention that earlier. Get the windows down again so you can hear.
Go straight.
Yeah, quite a bit of difference.
100 yards, turn left.
Hit that Jake again.
Turn left. After 50 yards, go straight.
Go ahead and get the four ways on here.
Go straight. You have reached your destination.
Get in the driveway here, past the fence, and then we'll figure out exactly where they want it. I think they might want it over there by that building. Let me go check. I'll be right back. Yes, that is exactly where they want it. So, I could go around the building, or I could try to do something fancy. Maybe I'm just going to pull up over here. And curve around. Put me in a position where I can just back up without having to go around the whole building, which is probably what they would normally want you to do by procedure. So I just have to wait till we straighten out just a little bit, because we're going in right between that trailer and the building. Alright, so on this transmission, splitter back, and I think we can just go ahead and do it starting with reverse 2. Watching over there, seem pretty clear. Not going to hit those barricades. Nothing on the right. Came in a little bit shallow on that. Yeah, way shallow. Alright, let's go splitter forward. Use the low gear here. That should give us enough wiggle room there. And we'll go back into first. Make it a little bit more... have a little bit more control. Straighten out. Should be green. There we go. Not perfect, but I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Let's get the windows up. Oh, parking brake on. Parking lights only. Get these things out of the way. 4 ways we can take off. And engine off. Look at the little animation. Did you see the animation on the dash? Check it out. Bormann Performance. And all the lights come on right before. That is so cool. That is a really, really unique touch. I like that. I didn't notice that before. First time I noticed that. Yeah, so welcome to Oklahoma City. And 28,000. Oh, it's actually 28,000 of liquid propane gas with the new Mack Pinnacle / Mack Granite update from Bormann Performance. And let me know if you guys have any questions down below. It was a little bit longer of a video, but I did want to get in, all the different options. And even though we didn't get into the Pinnacle, wanted to mention a few things, what was similar, what was a little bit different. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you can see all of my videos. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.